or dars that will occur within the holy month of Ramadan after Salat al-Fajr. Time throughout the month thinking about what should I address or what should I talk about in the last morning as a way to summarize or put together the occurrences of the month and help people contemplate their choices and what comes next in their lives. And subhanAllah, the way that this month worked out is that I still have half a page of Surat Al-Saffat that I didn't explain. And I read it, we've read it before many times, but I read it with a different lens, and subhanAllah, I felt like I didn't really need to think of anything myself. Just reading this final piece of Surat Al-Saffat suffices. Like, it's enough. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has here at the end of this surah is a good enough summary for all of us. Especially during these difficult times that we're living in as Muslims in the West and elsewhere. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of concern and worry and fear even sometimes for what the future holds for us. People try to be cautiously optimistic, inshallah, of what's coming next, and that this ummah has khair in it, and that inshallah there's a change will come. But at the same time, we can't help but feel a little bit afraid of what the future holds for us. And this final piece of Surah Al-Saffat, this surah that talked to us about submitting and obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we don't necessarily understand exactly why, or when He tells us or teaches us something about ghaib that we can't verify, or we have no way to know aside from the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this. At the end of it, we hear His words subhanahu wa ta'ala. We hear Him speak, Jalla Jalaluhu, directly to us and to His prophets alayhi salatu wassalam. So we'll start inshallah reading ayah number 171. We'll read it till the end and I'll explain them. They're very concise verses and they're very intense as well in their meanings, and they're a perfect farewell to this blessed month of Ramadan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد سبقت كلمتنا لعبادنا المرسلين إنهم لهم المنصورون وإن جندنا لهم الغالبون فتول عنهم حتى حين وأبصرهم فسوف يبصرون أفبعذابنا يستعجلون فإذا نزل بساحتهم فساء صباح المنذرين وتول عنهم حتى حين وأبصر فسوف يبصرون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Well, I couldn't have planned it if I wanted to. Subhanallah. He says subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of this surah, at the end of this month, and indeed our word, our glorious word, has reached our messengers long time ago. Sabaqat kalimatuna. It got there a long time ago. His word subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning His judgment, His divine decree. He uses this term in the Quran in different places. لأملأن جهنم من الجنة والناس أجمعين. That's his qawl, that's his word, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in certain contexts. In this context, he explains to us what his word is. I mean, what does he mean? The word in Arabic, kalima, is I'm using the term word to describe it, and it also works in English, because when you use the term word, it's not necessarily just a word. It could be a sentence or a general statement that has meaning to it. And in Arabic, that's what the word kalima means. You say kalima, if you've attended any public gathering, yulqi alayna kalima. It's never a kalima, ever. Like, it's never a word. It's going to be hours upon hours of the person run. So that's not what it is. But because we understand the word kalima means statements that have meaning to them. Just like a kitab is really not a book, but it's a chapter of knowledge that talks about concisely one idea. That's why you open any of the books of hadith on the shelf. It's like kitab al-iman, kitab this, kitab that. Like, how many kitab? It's just one kitab. No, it's this is a sahifa. This is how the Arabic language works. So he's saying, subhanahu wa ta'ala, indeed, my judgment, my divine decree has made its way to the ears and the knowledge of my messengers a long time ago. So what is the divine decree? إِنَّهُمْ لَهُمُ الْمَنْصُورُونَ وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا لَهُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. Indeed, they are going to be the ones who are victorious at the end. And indeed, those who stand by our soldiers, those who stand for us, are the ones who are going to be victorious or successful or triumphant. This is his divine decree, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innahum, my mursaleen, my messengers, humul mansurun. They're the ones that I aid and I support. And wa inna jundana, and those who fight for me. Il-jundi is a soldier. But what it means really in Arabic is someone who does something for you. Someone who is willing to take commands and orders from you. That's your jund. It doesn't have to be in combat or in war. It just has to be someone who's willing to take their orders from you. So anyone who lives that way with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is from the jund of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this word is used in the Quran, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. And the only one who knows, who actually lives that way in terms of full submission to his Lord is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one else does. May Allah make us amongst them. But that's what jundana means. وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا, and those who stand for what we teach. Those who accept our commands as is. What is this is why this surah is interesting. When you use the word jundi, which is a soldier, what about a soldier is specific here for this surah? Is that soldiers don't question the commands, right? They don't question. They don't have the right to question. When you're given a command, you go. That's not how it works in other aspects of life. If you're a physician and you're told to do something by a supervisor, you have to question it. Actually, you're obligated, if you think it's wrong, to question it. But in an army, you don't. Right? نَفِّذْ ثُمَّ اعْتَرِضْ. You ever heard that before? You do what you're told and then you object later. Because this is war. This is an army. There's no place for everyone. There's not a democracy. Whatever you're told to do, you do. And this is what we are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're supposed to see ourselves that way. We're his jund subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever he tells us to do, we say, حاضر يا رب. سمعا وطاعة. سمعنا وأطعنا. We understand it, great. We don't understand it, no problem. It doesn't make a difference because we're jund. We are his, that's who we are. That's how we see ourselves. So he explains it, وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا لَهُمُ الْغَالِبِينَ. Those who live like that, those who accept our command, our decree, without questioning it, they're the ones who are going to be triumphant at the end. So as you see this turmoil in the world, as we continue to watch the suffering of people whom we love, people who look like you and carry your first name and your last name, and no difference between you and them really aside from where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to put you on this planet. You didn't choose that. You didn't choose exactly which family you were born into. You didn't choose what decisions your parents made when you came here. You didn't even necessarily make the decision of coming here on your own. Many of the people who are here didn't even necessarily make that decision themselves. It's just this is what life threw their way, and they ended up. So the only difference between you and these people is just this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's choice of where you are on the planet. So you're being reminded here, his divine decree that all of his prophets knew. إِنَّهُمْ لَهُمُ الْمَنْصُورُونَ. They're the ones who are going to receive his aid. And وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا, those who obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not without questioning him. No questioning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're the ones who are going to be triumphant at the end. فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. He's told alayhi salatu wasalam. He's told to do this twice in these verses, twice, with a small difference between them. فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. Leave them Leave those who continue to defy you, those who oppress you, those who mistreat you. Leave them for a certain period, حتى حين, until a certain period of time. وَأَبْصِرْهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ, and make sure that you and them are both watching the outcome for them, because the adhab in dunya is coming on its way. No oppressor goes without punishment. All oppressors are punished at the end. If they don't get punished in themselves, they get punished in their families, in their legacy, in their names, in what they built in their lives. Every oppressor meets that same ending. It's really weird what a bad learning curve we have as a race. Every oppressor ends in blood, ends in hatred, ends in loss of everything that they built. Or every tyrant ends like that. And yet human beings can't help it. Can't help but to exhibit that tyranny when they're granted the choice or granted the opportunity to do so. So he's told alayhi salatu wasalam, don't worry. Our divine decree, it precedes everything. It precedes their existence. You will be aided, and those who stand by us will be granted triumph. So leave them. فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ. Don't worry about them. Don't feel bad. He used to feel bad, alayhi salatu wasalam, about these people. He would cry for them. He would weep for them, alayhi salatu wasalam, because he doesn't want people to be like that. He doesn't want people to behave that way. Because at the end, they're going to be miskeen. At the end, as they are losing everything, when they are stripped from their strength, and they're stripped from all of their status, and they're sitting there alone, they're weak. There's nothing left of them, and you look at them and you almost feel bad. Where's your strength? Where's your command? Everyone was scared of you. Now look at you. You're worthless. So he could see that, alayhi salatu wasalam, inside everybody. He knew that can happen to you. What are you doing? فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى, give them some time. وَأَبْصِرْهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ, watch them specifically, and may they watch as well what's going to come. That first commands are for dunya. The punishment of dunya. Right? That first that we read here is for dunya. The second one is different. أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ. They're in a hurry for our punishment to them. They're hasting our punishment. Is that what they're doing? They think that they're challenging God. You challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ, twice in the Quran, this verse. Now here in Surat Al-Shu'ara. Read the other one when you're done today. And listen to it. أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ, are you seriously hastening my punishment to you? فَإِذَا نَزَلَ بِسَاحَتِهِمْ, when my punishment comes to their area. Saha is an open space. It's like your neighborhood. Right? It's where you identify as your area, as your space. فَإِذَا نَزَلَ بِسَاحَتِهِمْ, when my punishment comes to them. فَسَاءَ صَبَاحُ الْمُنذَرِينَ, that's going to be a very evil morning for the warned. That will be an evil warning for the warned. An evil morning, for the sabah is the morning. Evil morning for the warned. This is talking about when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes them yawm al-qiyamah and punishes them yawm al-qiyamah. وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى, so leave them. Give them some time. Don't be in a hurry. What's coming to them is already going to be evil and difficult in dunya and difficult in akhirah. So leave them. Why are you in a hurry for them to be punished? Why are you in a hurry for them what's waiting for them is horrible. They've made choices in their lives, and what's waiting for them is just not pleasant at all. وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. Tawalli is when you kind of look away. خلاص, I'm not going to bother with you anymore. Until a certain period of time. وَأَبْصِرْ, and watch in general, not them, in general. Why? Because Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to come to all oppressors, not just to them. The first one, وَأَبْصِرْهُمْ, watch them specifically, because that's going to come to them. The punishment in dunya is going to be, this is a conflict between the Prophet ﷺ and them. Watch them and see what's going to happen to them. And he did, alayhi salatu wasalam. He saw them fall on the day of Badr. He saw them fall on the day of Uhud. He saw them fall on the day of Khandaq. He saw them beg him on the day of Khaybar. He saw them give up everything on the day of Fatah Makkah. He watched them slowly end up with nothing. Abu Sufyan, towards the end, he was a man of great dignity and honor. He was a very high nobleman. And he had done a lot for the people of Quraysh. He was respected by them, regardless of anything that happened in his life. They always respected him. And he was just very difficult to kind of change the mind of. When the Prophet ﷺ saw him just before Fatah Makkah, just before they entered Mecca, he came with Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, the Prophet ﷺ's uncle. Al-Abbas wanted to help Abu Sufyan maybe get off without being punished, because Abu Sufyan came to Medina just a week before and lied to the Prophet ﷺ about breaking the treaty and about murdering people of Khuza'ah in the Haram. And the Prophet ﷺ knew that was the case, and Abu Sufyan lied anyways. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him direct questions that forced Abu Sufyan to either tell the truth or lie, so he lied. So Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib would come would take Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan is with him. They're going over to see the Prophet ﷺ, and they come by Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, who sees Abu Sufyan sitting behind Al-Abbas, and he says, Abu Sufyan, hayt ra'sak, give me your head. Today I take your head with me. Al-Abbas tells him he's with me. He says, no, there's no with me today. So Al-Abbas wants to calm Umar down because Umar's upset. So he tells them, Wallahi law kana min ali, min bani aqil, from your min bani Adi, from your tribe, la taraktah, walakinahu if he was someone who's related to you, you'd have left him, but because he's related to me, you're going to do this. Now, Al-Abbas didn't mean that, but he needed to calm Umar down. So when he said that to Umar said, radiallahu anhu, فوقف عمر. Umar was one of those people who questioned himself quickly. فقال يا عباس سامحك الله, may Allah forgive you. والله لفرحتي بإسلامك أكثر من فرحتي بإسلامي لو أسلم الخطاب ولم يسلم لأن فرحة رسول الله بك خير من فرحته بأبي. He told him, Wallahi, I was happier when you announced your Islam more than had my father accepted Islam and he didn't. Because the Prophet ﷺ was happier with you being Muslim than my dad was. But he calmed down. They keep on going, they run by Sayyidina Ali. Abu Sufyan asks Abu al-Hasan. He tells him, ما نصنع مع رسول الله. So we're coming, I need to fix this problem. فقال قل له كما قال إخوة يوسف. Say to him what the brothers and sisters Yusuf told him. فقال وما قال إخوة يوسف. What did they say? قال قل تالله لقد آثرك الله علينا وإن كنا لخاطئين. By Allah, indeed you were chosen over us and we have been wrong about you this whole time. فإذا قلت كذلك يقول لك لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم. See, Sayyidina Ali was faqih and alim. He knew that the Prophet ﷺ would immediately respond to Sayyidina Yusuf, because that's why he read the Quran, so that when you're given the opportunity you can respond with him. So they went to the Prophet ﷺ. He sees them from afar. فقال يا أبا سفيان أتيت إلي المدينة تكذب علي تقول لي لا غدر. You came to lie to me, to my face in Medina. You lied to me. I ask you about Ghadr, you say there's no Ghadr. Abu Sufyan, you lied to me. So Abu Sufyan doesn't know what to say. He just blurts out whatever Ali told him. فقال تالله لقد آثرك الله علينا وإن كنا لخاطئين. He doesn't miss a beat عليه الصلاة والسلام. لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وأرحم الراحمين. Then he comes up to him عليه الصلاة والسلام. He says, يا أبو سفيان. قال وضرب على صدره. He goes like this on his steps. Just قل لا إله إلا الله. قل لا إله إلا الله. فقال أبو سفيان أما زلت في هذا. You're still doing this. أما زلت في هذا. You still. Why are you doing this? بأبي أنت وأمي ما أوصلك ما أرحمك ما أكرمك. I don't know what to tell you. How loving you are, how forgiving you are, how generous you are. أما زلت في هذا. You're still asking me to. After everything, you're still trying to get to me to say this. Why do you care? فقال أبو سفيان لا إله إلا الله. He gave up and said لا إله إلا الله. So the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام told him فقل محمد رسول الله. Say. فقال أما هذه فما زال في نفسي منها شيء. I'm not ready yet. No worries. عليه الصلاة والسلام طبيب القلوب عليه الصلاة والسلام. No worries. We'll figure this out. So he told Al-Abbas, take him, put him على تلة كذا. He names a small hill. Stand there with him. And Abu Sufyan stands there. The reason is that all of the Muslim army is going to walk in front of this one hill. So he's standing there. Abu Sufyan is watching. And he sees a part of a platoon of the army. من هؤلاء؟ فقال هذه غفار. فيقول أسلمت غفار. This is the tribe of Ghifar. Why did they accept Islam? فقال نعم. Then he sees another tribe. من هؤلاء? Who are these? قال هذه أسلم. قال وأسلمت أسلم. This tribe also accepted Islam. And every time a tribe comes by, he says, who are these people? Oh, this is this tribe. When did they accept Islam? And then he sees the Prophet ﷺ's platoon, right? All with black amayim. And his imamah was green alayhi salatu wasalam that day. All of them in hadid, one step at a time, perfect synchrony. Not one person out of place. He watches this. He looks to Al-Abbas. He said, Ya Abbas, لَقَدْ بَلَغَ مُلْكُ ابْنِ أَخِيكَ مَبْلَغًا عَظِيمًا. The sovereignty of your nephew has become great. فَقَالَ يَا أَبَا سُفْيَانَ إِنَّهَا لَيْسَتْ مُلْكًا. It's not a sovereignty. إِنَّهَا النُّبُوَّةِ. It's prophecy, Ya Abu Sufyan. And with time, he was broken. Abu Sufyan was broken. He had nothing left. He had nothing. He couldn't do anything anymore. فناداه رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. He said, تعال. قال ادخل يا أبا سفيان. Enter Mecca before me. وأخبرهم أن من دخل داره فهو آمن. وأن من دخل وقف ومن كان عند الكعبة فهو آمن. If you stay in the Kaaba, in the Haram, you're safe. If you go to your home, you're safe. ومن دخل دارك يا أبا سفيان فهو آمن. Anyone enters your home, they're also safe. Now, technically speaking, that's redundant. If you have a home, go to your home. Why would you go to Abu Sufyan's home? It's already safe there. But to give Abu Sufyan something because he was broken. He had nothing left, yani. He had no dignity left. فدخل أبو سفيان. He was very... كان رجل يحب الفخر. فقال من دخل الحرم فهو آمن ومن دخل داره فهو آمن ومن دخل دار أبي سفيان فهو آمن. As the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام would have said. Why? وتولى عنهم حتى حين. Give them some time. وأبصر فسوف يبصرون. And watch. They will see too. You'll all see how it ends. You see, it's all about how it ends, not how it begins. Don't be fooled by strong beginnings. It's how it ends. How it ends. If you understood how it ends, you would be as merciful as he was, alayhi salatu wasalam, in his life. If you understood how it ends, once he came out of that hole bleeding, alayhi salatu wasalam, from his face with a broken tooth and a concussion, and they told him, make dua against these people. He said, Allahumma ghafir liqawmi. Oh Allah, forgive my people. Innahum la ya'lamun. They don't know what they're doing. Because he knew, alayhi salatu wasalam. That's the point. That's the contrast of this story. He knew, alayhi salatu. He knew what was going to happen at the end. He knew what Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to look like for these people. He knew what it was going to look like. He knew, alayhi salatu wasalam. They did not. It's the lack of knowledge. That's why, وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. Walk away for a bit. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. They're doing this. Don't worry. Worry about not them. Worry about you. Worry about whether you're from the jund or not. Worry about whether this divine decree you're a part of it, whether you are actually contributing to that. That's what you worry about. Whether you are doing your part or not. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about the oppressor. فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ وَأَبْصِرْهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ. In this dunya you will see their punishment. And don't worry about the end. وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ وَأَبْصِرْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ. They're going to see their punishment Yawm al-Qiyamah as well. Don't worry about it. What? They're hastening my punishment. They're hastening God's punishment. What's wrong? Of course not. Worry about what you can do, not about what others do. That's ghaib to you. But why people do what they do, and that's not for me to judge or to say. I just stick to mine. Which is why the end of this surah, Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzah. Exalted your Lord, the Lord of Izzah. The word Izzah has two meanings. It has dignity. It also has the concept of unfathomability. Meaning you can't understand certain things. Al-Aziz is the unfathomable. The one who cannot, الَّذِي لَا يُدْرَكْ. The one that cannot be, you can't understand the essence of him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. You won't always make sense of every command. You won't be able to see the wisdom in everything that occurs in this world. Why? Because Allah is Al-Aziz, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's His name. If you could break down everything, then you would be divine yourself, or He wouldn't. وَحَاشَ لِلَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى وَحَاشَ لَكَ. Neither are possibilities that are acceptable. That's why in this surah specifically, He's Rabbi. This is the only place. Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzah. The Lord of Izzah. Of something. Izzah, just one level, or maybe more. It's a level above my paycheck. My payroll. Just a little bit higher than what I can figure out. And I'm okay with that. And I exalt Him. I exalt my Lord, the Lord of Izzah. Amma yasifun, from anything that they say about Him or make up about Him, or any accusations they have about Him, or any false claims. وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And may say, the whole surah, that's what the whole surah, wasn't that from the beginning of the surah? At the end of every story. At the end of every story. سَلَامٌ عَلَى نُوحٍ فِي الْعَالَمِينَ. سَلَامٌ عَلى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. سَلَامٌ عَلى مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. سَلَامٌ عَلى إِلْيَاسِينَ. سَلَامٌ عَلى الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Peace be upon all the prophets, alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Our leaders and our teachers. Those who brought us ghaib. Those who brought us ghaib. How were you going to access this? Had Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam not brought this to you? How were any of the followers going to learn anything if the prophets did not bring it to them? So peace be upon them. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And all praise is due to the Lord of the worlds. There's a beautiful ending for a beautiful surah. But it also fits I think this ending that we are witnessing for this blessed month. It's always bittersweet, the end of Ramadan. And no matter how many times you do this in your life, you'll feel the same way about it. It doesn't grow old. It would have by now. It actually only gets more intense. Every year you experience Ramadan, you experience the beauty that it brings you. This very pleasant visitor that comes once a year and shakes us a little bit. It pushes us. It reminds us of something that we knew was real about ourselves but forgot. It shows us a potential that exists within us that we have refused to meet or reach or tap into. It comes every year and reminds us of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who we are and what we're here to do in a way that could not be more beautiful, that could be not more poetic. It just takes away from us some of the basic needs. Here, don't eat and drink for a while. Let me show you how happy you're going to be. Let me deprive you of food and drink all day long. Let me deprive you of sleep all night long. And you're going to be the happiest you've ever been in your life. And yes, you're going to be fatigued, and you're going to be tired and disheveled, and you're going to lack, and you lose weight and feel dehydrated but you'll look at this and you'll cry that it's leaving. You're going to be upset that it's over because there's just nothing that's more beautiful than it. This paradox that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to experience here. I'm going to make it miserable, and I'm going to make you the happiest you've ever been in the middle of it. In the middle of it. You take off time when you go places and you book fancy hotels and beautiful. Wallahi, you're not happier there than you are in the nights of Ramadan. I swear. And if that is the case, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you barakah in your heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open your heart so that you don't find anything else more. Because there isn't anything. There isn't anything than standing in front, bayna yaday Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at night. Standing there with your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, making dua and finding something inside of you that you were not going to find anywhere else. There's nothing more beautiful than those moments. And He puts them subhanahu wa ta'ala at a time that you tell any non-Muslim and say, what a miserable month. Everyone, if you work in a hospital, you get empathy from your co-workers, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you can have bad co-workers that, I'm lucky, I have good people that I work with. Alhamdulillah, 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 may Allah keep it for that way, inshallah. They look at it and say, you don't eat, you don't drink. They have to ask the water question every day. No water? Yes, Habibi, no water. Not any type of water, nothing at all. You don't eat and drink. And we have to pray for an hour and a half or 2 hours every single night. And we have to wake up for Fajr and we have to be awake all. And they wonder, how do you survive to do this? And I think about it, yeah, that's true. This is actually a very, very difficult regimen. And yet, it's the happiest we are. It's the happiest where we sit and we cry in the morning that this is the last Fajr we're going to have in Ramadan this year. And then you pray Dhuhr, and that's the last Dhuhr of Ramadan. And then you pray Asr, it's the last Asr of Ramadan. And then it's the last hour of Ramadan. You sit there in tears because Ramadan is gone. Subhanallah al-Azim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzah. He'll give you the most difficult situation. He will set up the most miserable circumstances and then put the happiest moments of your life right in it. So that you understand something different about yourself and about the reality of this life. I believe that what we continue to witness in the world around us are very severe wake-up calls. When someone is in a deep slumber, sometimes they need a painful stimulus to wake up. There's something in medicine called a sternal rub. We use this to find out if someone's dead. If I walk in and I have to declare someone dead, I have to do a few things. One of the things I have to do is sternal rub. It's one of the most horrible things. You put your hand right at the end of their sternum and you drill your hand right up. If someone was alive, it's one of the most painful maneuvers that you can ever go through. And we do it just to see if this person is alive because we exhibit pain, cause some pain, and then if they're alive, they'll wake up. If they're alive, if there's life in them, they'll wake up. And if there's no life, khalas, they don't feel anything. So we are undergoing a sternal rub as an ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is administering this pain so that this ummah wakes up if it's still alive. And I believe it's still alive. I believe this ummah is still alive. It's not about numbers, by the way. If you think an ummah is about numbers, then you're not reading the Quran well. The Quran doesn't care about numbers. The numbers never mattered. It never meant anything to the Prophet ﷺ to begin with. It was told in the Quran that it doesn't matter. 20 to 200. It's not about numbers. It's about the life that exists in the spirit, the life that exists in the conscience, the life that exists in the nafs, that life, the life of feeling for others, of having that empathy, of having the ability to sacrifice and dedicate and live beyond yourself. Live for something that's bigger than you, that's more meaningful than you, that's not just focused on your selfish needs, on your best interest, not trying to play both fields all the time, not trying to take as much as you can from dunya but also offering something. No, but really living is fulfilling, ya akhi. It's very fulfilling when you live for something bigger than yourself. It may be tiring, you may be tired at some point, frustrated even. But if you live that way, you get something out of it that no one else understands but you. It's a beauty that will live with you for the rest of your life. Exactly what you feel in Ramadan. You see how you feel in Ramadan? You see these nights. I'm sure you can remember a point in Ramadan, a witr that you prayed, or a sajda, or a recitation of a verse, or a dua something that you did that means something to you. See that feeling? That's something that you don't have to lose. That's something that can live with you. It can be a part of who you are because you are living for Him, subhanahu, because you're His jund, because you obey Him, Jalla Jalaluhu, and you're living with Him. And Ramadan is just a perk, it's an extra piece. And then you actually dedicate more in Ramadan to try and get people to enjoy it, because like, no, you don't understand what you're missing. Ya akhi, you're missing out on something beautiful. Please come and enjoy it, because if you enjoy it the way I do, then you'll feel something, you'll behave differently. That's how he was, alayhi salatu wasalam. That's how the Sahaba, come, you have to. That's why they organized Taraweeh for everyone. They didn't need to. The Prophet alayhi salatu didn't need to do that, because he found he knew he had it already. He was enjoying it. He didn't need Taraweeh. The Sahaba didn't. But then they organized it for the next generation. No, you guys need to stand here and you have to taste this. You have to taste this. And if you do taste it, then it'll change your life. It'll allow you to live the way you were meant to live to begin with. And these extremely difficult times that we're living in, their purpose is to serve as wake-up calls for all of us. That we change our ways, that we reevaluate our priorities, our choices and our decisions, how we're living our lives, what matters most to us, what we're willing to sacrifice for khair, for that which we know is best. How dedicated are you actually? You actually think that you're going to get away with living life and not answering that question? You're absolutely going to answer that question. We all are. We are all going to. And no, I'm not talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. No, I'm talking about in dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will absolutely make you answer that question. How dedicated are you actually? He will put you at moments where you have to make decisions. Whether are you fully committed to this, or is it a partial? No. And we will all establish who we are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us to make the right choice, inshallah. Allah grant us the ability to commit to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala as it pleases Him, Jalla Jalaluhu. Because that's really what else is in life aside from that? Wallahi, there's nothing else in life. There's nothing. We just generate that ability to offer yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You'll live better. You'll live well. You'll live happier. You're not going to miss out on anything. It's the others who are missing out on stuff. Those who aren't doing this are missing out on. He aligned it perfectly, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just do this and find the joy, and find the serenity, and find the tranquility, and find the love. And the harder you work, the happier you are. And the more you're sacrificing, the more. God, you watch these. Not even. And if you read the stories of the Sahaba, you conclude this on your own without needing to listen to me. But when you look at some of these people who are living in these parts of the world, and I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how they have what they have. I don't understand how they're capable of saying the words that they're saying in the midst of their pain, in the midst of their loss, in the midst of the fear that they live with every day. This ongoing praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this rida. Watching videos of people praying outside of a destroyed masjid, out in the open. These people can't find enough food to eat. But they yuqimuna at-tarawih, and they pray, and they're reading a khatmah. They share with you the tarawih of the 25th night. They're right where we are. They're reading the Quran as well. How is that? There's something in the heart, something that they found. It does not justify us letting them go through that. No. But it teaches us something about what's valuable in life, what's meaningful in life. And we just use Ramadan, use this anchor. This launching pod. That's what it is, a launching pod. That's what it is. You use it so that you change your trajectory, right? Whatever you were doing before, all of us, what we were doing before, use Ramadan. Let it change your trajectory and move you in the right direction, the right velocity, the right speed, in the right way. Use Ramadan for that. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it here. He could have made this a yearly, a once in a lifetime, like Hajj. Do it once. No, he put it right in the middle of the year, every year. 11 months go by, we come back to this again. This 30-day boot camp of training. So that as an ummah, not just as individuals. You see, this ummah won't work until the individual improves on the inside and people work together on the outside. When, as individuals on the inside, we improve and we change, we become better people deep down inside, and then we collaborate and work with one another on the outside, then this ummah will find something, and it will happen, inshallah ta'ala. Why? Because إِنَّهُمْ لَهُمُ الْمَنصُورُونَ وَإِنَّ جُنْدَنَا لَهُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. That's why. Because سَبَقَتْ كَلِمَتُنَا, that's his word, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you trust it? And you accept his ghaib, Jalla Jalal, you accept his teaching, then khalas. You know that that's what's coming. Either be on the right side or not. And choose on which side you're hoping to be. Inshallah, we will be all on the right side, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah, through the barakah of this month, the barakah of Ramadan. I hope, inshallah, what we were able to offer throughout this month was a benefit to you, inshallah ta'ala. And that what you said here, everything that was said on this little piece of furniture of mine that I sit on, I hope, inshallah ta'ala, what was said, whether it was at night or in the morning or during the day, that there was barakah in it and there was benefit. And whatever benefit you found from it, then praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it. وَاحْمُدُوا اللَّهَ subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ وَمَجِّدُوا اللَّهَ وَسَبِّحُوا اللَّهَ وَهَلِّلُوهُ جَلَّ جَلَالُهُ. It's all from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all that which was mistakes or that which I said that may be unclear or offensive or wrong, then that's from me. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me forgiveness as well. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the full ajr of this blessed month. And may He offer us subhanahu wa ta'ala the ability to continue to walk the path that He drew for us after the month of Ramadan. And may all of our efforts come together in a form that benefits this ummah and strengthens this ummah and relieves the pain from our suffering brothers and sisters all across the world. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. كل عام وأنتم بخير. تقبل الله طاعاتكم. إن عاد عليكم إن شاء الله بالصحة والسلامة. Most likely it's going to be Sunday. I don't know. I'm waiting inshallah today to hear from the LCI what it is. But we are with the Jama'ah. Wherever the Jama'ah has Eid, we will go, and most likely I'll be at the first Salah at Agriflex inshallah ta'ala, attending, and we'll see you and give you congratulations. Tonight after Salat al-Isha, whether there is Ramadan tomorrow or Eid, we will have a short qiyam, just to keep the sunnah going so that we don't kind of cut it cold turkey. So we'll pray Isha and have a few raka'at and a witr.